I want to run for some level of politics here in the United States, whether that is a governor, a congressman, even president. I don't really care. I am tired of all of the subpar candidates that we have in politics. I think we all are. I'm tired of having to pick the lesser of two evils, and I just want the problems fixed. Unfortunately, I was born as a poor, like most of us, and in order to actually get anywhere in politics, you have to join a party. And in order to even get your name on the ballot to be voted on for a party, you need people who actually will vote for you. You need to have valid signatures. You need a campaign. And of course, that is only going to happen if you have the money to campaign. So, average Joes like you and me are very much gate kept from entering politics, based solely on the fact of we will never be able to compete with the resources and assets that the wealthy have. It's almost like it's by design or something. So I want to start using social media to gain some kind of following so that way I can at least throw my hat in the ring and try to enter some level of political office. I don't really care which one. So that way I can start getting the problems fixed that we all want fixed, like fixing our roads or removing corruption or maybe even releasing those Epstein files. Wouldn't that be something? As of right now, I'm not even old enough to run for politics because you got to be at least 30. I'm 28, and that sounds a whole lot like taxation without representation, but it is what it is. Maybe that's one of the things that we can get fixed that you, the people, would want fixed. I'm not going to pretend that I have all the answers. Nobody does, and if they say they do, they're lying to you. Either that or they're really just that egocentric that they really believe their own lies. I'm tired of all the corruption, and I think all of you are too, and I'm tired of all the politicians lying. This man right here would do very well in American politics, not because he's not corrupt, but just because he's
Corruption is
honest.
not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes.
But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it. And corruption.
To be perfectly honest, at this point, I'd vote for him too, just because he's at least honest about it. And that's more than what we're getting out of our current politicians. And that is just ridiculous. And I'm tired of having that be where the bar is set, as I'm sure many of you are. I'm tired of having this or this be our option. We've all already seen this. We already all know how the debate goes. We don't need to watch it. We all see them act like children. And to those to say, oh, it's not that bad, oh, yes, it is.
Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent.
Former President Trump to
He didn't even answer the question. What he was trying to get at was they didn't believe in me when I was young and they don't believe in me when I'm old, so what's the difference? What you should have said was an actual answer to the question. You should have actually said, just because I'm getting old does not mean that I have any level of cognitive dissonance. I have decades of wisdom built up and experience of dealing with politics. That should have been his answer. I don't do that. I don't answer things like a politician. I am very blunt. I've gotten in trouble for being blunt, whether that's in personal relationships or at work, because I call it as it is, which they won't like. But you know what? At least you'll get a straight answer out of me. And that's better than what you'll get out of most politicians. But it's also abhorrent how this man right here acts when he does his political debates.
Follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards.
What does this have to do with anything? All you're doing is just attacking your opponent over something that is truly irrelevant. I won't deny the fact that he took his cognitive test and his physical test, and that was good. He at least answered that part of the question of, despite his age, he's still at least all there. But attacking your political opponent like that, that's just disgusting behavior. We're not here to tear each other down. We're here to just express why we are the best individual for the candidate. That is unacceptable behavior. But as far as it goes, when it comes to Trump, that's probably one of the most tame things he's ever said on camera. He's gotten really wild ever since he got reelected. And to make things clear, I did vote for Trump. I don't like him that much as a person and how he conducts behavior around people. But he did the job, because I remember his first term and it was a lot better than what we got out of this whole mess of a clown show. And I want to take us back in time a bit to an old TV show from the 90s to show that this is not a new problem. This is not like oh wow, it's a brand new discovery. Politicians are corrupt and evil, and they've been bought out by corporations for, just recently. Like, no, this is a problem that we've known about for years. It's been joked about in old TV shows for years. And I think it's time that we show what it really is.
Apparently, the big money interests who control my party feel I come off a bit abrasive on TV.
Big money interests who control my party. I wonder who that could be. Maybe it could be your bankers. Maybe it could be your oil tycoons. Maybe it could be people who have just donated to their party. I believe there was something with, what was his name? The guy who did all those big crypto scams. I believe he also donated a lot of money to the Democratic Party. Big money interests. We need to remove all this money from politics. It's just corrupting it. It's making it worse.
Oh, no. Fortunately, the big money interests who control my party also control the other party.
2 wings of the same bird. We have all known about this for years. It's been a joke on television for years, since at least the 90s. We all know this. This is not new news. We can stop pretending like it really matters if there's a blue guy in charge or a red guy in charge. They're all bought and paid for by the same people because they all own the same party.
Son, under our system, a guy can't just muscle his way to the top without any opposition. We are required by our Constitution to let the voters think. They have a choice.
That's wrong. That's not the way it should be. I want that changed. I think we all want that changed.
That's democracy.
Mr. Richfield, I understand you favor heavy taxation for the poor and no taxes at all for the rich.
That's right, I call it my trickle-down theory. See, rich folks tend to live in big houses on the tops of hills. And so if we give them all the money, some of it's bound to slip out of their pockets and roll down to where the poor folks are.
I see. Mr. Richfield, you say you want to be the education elder, and yet you favor the repeal of all child labor laws.
Absolutely. Children love to work. It's like a game to them, getting all dirty down in the we-say-so coal mine. And because they're small, you can fit more of them in a tight space. Why, your average 6-year-old can work 18, 20 hours a day without rest.
You see, that's just ridiculous. And you could say, oh, well, it's the Democrats that are evil, or oh, it's the Republicans that are evil. It's two wings of the same exact birds. Does not matter. And we all know this.
Citizens. Let's just talk about, to your point, David, the children who were apparently being exploited working on a weed farm. Were these children trafficked into this country by coyotes and smugglers? Were these some of the 300,000 that are unaccounted for that the Trump administration, by the way, is working hard to identify and to bring home? We don't know. We need to know. But when you talk about protecting people, how about the people who are being exploited working for serf class labor wages on these marijuana farms and elsewhere?
And she's putting on a good show. And this is really what people want. They want people to stop being exploited. But as far as it goes, this is something that both sides do. Maybe a little differently, but they both do it. That whole trickle-down economics joke that they just did at Dinosaurs, they keep doing the same exact thing. There's more tax cuts for the rich, and both the Democrats and the Republicans are gaining from it. They put on a big show in front of Congress and everybody to act like they're doing something different, but I guarantee you Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio looks just as good as Donald Trump's, looks just as good as Hillary Clinton's. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. That old George Carlin quote, we all know it. We've all heard it 1,000 times. Two wings of the same bird. It doesn't matter who you vote for in these cases. If we really want to get this fixed, we need to remove all of these old bought and paid for by big money interests politicians, and we need to bring in younger, new faces. And preferably, you need to bring them from lower middle class backgrounds. The reason why I say that is because the rich people, they're out of touch. They don't understand the plight of the common man. Nor do they care. They are the haves. We are the have-nots. They are going to keep doing what they do in order to maintain their position of authority and power. That is what the rich people always do. And you can't have the poor people in there because they don't understand how the whole process works. They only understand the end result because that's what they have to live with. They were never in the middle of it seeing things from the start to finish like what the lower middle class was. The lower middle class still has to deal with much of that poverty, but they can still adjust from there. They can still see both ends of the spectrum and at the very minimum start to fix it from the middle out. Because they see what does work and what doesn't work. They see what the goals of the rich people are and what the goals of the poor people are, and they can still adjust accordingly in order to make everybody at least okay with the results.
What an appalling display. The voters of this nation are presented with a choice between a monstrous, bloodthirsty psychopath and a self-confessed brain-dead ignoramus.
Help me, please.
What will future generations think of us that we cannot present the public with better alternatives than these? Surely somewhere there must exist a leader with the intelligence, vision, and decency to guide our nation.
I am not saying I am that person. I can be a bad person. Everybody can be. I'm not the smartest man in the world. I'm not going to pretend to be. But what I can say is that I am a better option.
The voters have a choice, but it's bloodthirsty.
I'm a better choice than this, and I'm a better choice than this. I'm a better choice than this. And I'm a better choice than this. And the fact that people are more related to a billionaire who has lived his life with a silver spoon in his mouth than this other person. I don't even know her background. She keeps changing it so much. Is honestly appalling.
Brain dead ignorance. What an appalling display.
That is all that we have ever been saying for decades now, with how these people act, with what they do. It is abhorrent and appalling what these people do. And I think it's time for a change. I'm not going to promise I have all the answers or that I can fix everything, but I'll at least be better than what we got right now.